Hi there, Jen Roque here from stampcampwithjen.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. This is going to be the last one for a couple weeks. As most of you guys know, I'm leaving this weekend and heading out on the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip. I'm so excited. So next week and the week after, I will not be having a Facebook Live. And then, as I mentioned earlier this week, if you go to my Stampin' Up! Events calendar, I've started adding my Facebook Lives on my events calendar. So if you're ever curious when I will be live, you can go to stampcampwithjen.stampinup.net and you can see my events calendar and kind of plan for that as well, okay? As you guys join, please say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. Did you have a happy Mother's Day? We had a great time yesterday. My son made me a card. I forgot to grab that. That's what I was going to show you guys. I forgot to grab it. My husband even asked me before I came back here, do you have everything? Are you going to come running out here? But I'll try to post a picture of it or something later. He was so cute because he's comfortable stamping. So he came back here in my craft room, I guess, when I was getting my hair done or something, when I was out and about. And he made me a card with my stamps. It's got like a ladybug on it and a bunch of different Stampin' Up! Stamps. It's really cute. And then my daughters and my granddaughter drove down from Gainesville, which is about an hour north of us, and surprised me. And they showed up with flowers and we went swimming and just had a really good time yesterday. It was really fun. So I hope you guys all had a great Mother's Day yesterday and a nice weekend. Though it's really starting to warm up here. It's like in the 90s. It's pretty crazy. So I have a fun project to share. You're in Illinois, had breakfast with your daughter and your grandsons. Oh, I'm so happy, Diana. That sounds like a good Mother's Day. Hi, Kay. Welcome, welcome. And if you guys wouldn't mind sharing this video with your crafty friends and inviting them to join us, I would really appreciate that too, okay? All right, so a couple things before we get started. So when I go on the incentive trip, I will actually have a shopping special. So if you've been kind of waiting to put an order in, wait till this weekend because I will have an offer that starts on the 20th, which I think is, was it Saturday? So where if you place a $50 order, you'll get a bottle of glue. If you place a $100 order, you'll get these beautiful brushed brass butterflies and a bottle of glue. And then if you place a $150 or more order, you will also get this adorable Stampin' Up! Canvas bag. This thing is huge and it's so cute. It's got this little bee with the Inspire, Create, and Share logo on the front. On the back it says Stampin' Up! It's got a little pocket on the inside. It's really nice. So this is something that only demonstrators can get, but I am going to offer it with a $150 or more order. So everything is cumulative. So if you get up to 150, you'll get all three of these. So you'll get the bag with the cute bee on the front. Let's see if I can pull that up with the bee. And you can fit a lot in here. This is a great like crafting bag to take all your stuff with you. So a $150 or more order, you'll get that bag plus the butterflies plus the glue bottle. If you do 100, you'll just get these two, and then 50 will just be the glue bottle, okay? Now, the important thing is you will need to use the host code that I provide. That's how I know that you're shopping for my using that Norway incentive trip special. Even if your order is over $150, you need to use that host code because you're getting all this stuff for free. You need to use that host code and it doesn't count towards my rewards points program, okay? So that is something that will be going on the 20th through the 28th. And then when I get back from my trip, I'll look through all the orders and I'll order everything I need to order and I'll ship it out to you when it comes in. So it'll take a couple weeks for me to get everything, okay? But that's a pretty good deal. The bag alone is worth at least $25, so that's a really good deal. Okay, one other thing. You guys know that I am a Stampin' Storage affiliate and they are doing a Mother's Day sale, and today is the last day. So if you guys want to take advantage of this offer, just head over to stampcampwithjen.com and you'll see my little Stamp and Storage affiliate link, and you can go over there and check it out. So let me flip the camera around because I know it's kind of hard to see that this way. So I'm going to flip it around so you can read it here. Okay. So, sorry, hope you don't get sick with me jostling this around so much. All right, so like I said, today's the last day for this Stamp and Storage Mother's Day special. If you spend $100, you get 10 off, $170, you get 25 off, $270, you get 45, and $375, you get 75 off. You don't have to do anything. It automatically applies when you go to checkout, so there's no code or anything like that. Hi, Jessica. Thanks so much for sharing, and happy Monday. I love that you guys join me every Monday. It makes me so happy. So yeah, so that's going on. Today's the last day. So if you want to hop on that, it's always nice when they have little shopping specials. Okay. All right. So let's get into today's project. This was a fun one. I thought it was really cool. We're using some of those new colors today. So for this one, we're using Lemon Lime Twist, that new Berry Burst, and Bubble Bath. And we're going to use the shimmery white embossing paste to make this beautiful. You see the little dots? You can kind of tell that they're kind of glittery in the background. And that's what we're doing. That was my little technique card. Hi, Joan. Thanks for joining and sharing. Oh, thanks so much, Kay. This is a fun one. So it was a little frustrating because I used the adhesive sheets on this, but I'll show you an easy way to pull everything out. When I had a lot of people doing it at once, it got a little tricky, but it's really not that bad. We'll go over some little tips and tricks on how to put that on, okay? But that was like the trickiest part of it. But this embossing paste is so pretty. I love they have a matte version too, so if you don't want the shimmering one, but you guys know I like glitter, so I had to use I've had the glittery one for a while and just haven't used it yet. So this card was actually inspired by one that I saw in the annual catalog. I want to show you real quick. So if you have your annual catalog and you go to page 108, let's see here. There's this card right here. And I thought that was so pretty. I really wanted to make something really close to it. So you can kind of see where I got the inspiration there. I figured out how to do the cutting for the background. And then instead of die cutting, I made a little die, a little mask, and did the little glittery dots instead. So I'll show you how to do that. Really, really fun. And then if you're interested in these little, so the palette knives, they come in a pack of 3. And you have these 3 different sizes, okay? You have one that's like a little fine tip, one that's a little fatter guy, and then one that's a little medium. So I'm just using the medium size one. But if you are curious about those are on page 136 of your annual catalog. And you get 3 of them for $5. And then the paste is, the shimmery one is $9. And this is how big is this tub? 4-ounce tub, so that's pretty good size. It lasts me a while. We used it in my classes, and I don't even know if we used half of it, and I had about 16 people making cards, so it goes pretty far. And there's a matte finish one also that is $8. So again, that's on page 136 if that's something you're interested in. Okay, so to make the background to cut these little pieces, I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. So let me get my little cutting thing here and get my grid paper out. Have that ready to go. I had a piece that was loose. Yep, there it is. All right. Get our grid paper here. And then I have a little card kit. And I have 3 pieces. So again, I have the Bubble Bath, and I have the Berry Burst, and the Lemon Lime Twist. And these are all 4 inches by 5 1/4. Oh, do you guys like my nails? I got my nails done for Norway today. So I tried to do little like designs that were kind of on little things that Stampin' Up! Has sent us. I thought she did a good job. It's not exactly like it, but very similar. So I liked it a lot. Okay, so back to the cards. So what you want to do is, with the paper and portrait, we're going to measure from this top right hand corner, and we're going to measure down at 2 1/4 and 3 inches, and just make a little pencil mark on the right hand side. So from the top right corner, we're just measuring down that right hand edge and doing 2 1/4 and 3, okay? And we'll have 2 little pencil marks just like that, okay? And I'm gonna do that on all 3 of these cards. So again, that top right hand corner, from the top down, we're going to 2 1/4 and 3 inches and just making a pencil mark. And then our lemon lime twist. I love this color. It's very close to Parakeet Party, and I really like Parakeet Party too. I like that bright neon green. So 2 1/4 and 3, okay? So all 3 of those have those little pencil marks in them now. Now we're gonna grab our paper trimmer. Okay, and make sure you guys can see these measurements. Oh, thanks, Sylvia. Glad you like my nails. Okay, so with our paper and the same layout that we had with our pencil marks on the right hand side, we're actually gonna line this top pencil mark in the track, and we're gonna line this top left corner up at the 1/2 inch mark to the right side of the paper trimmer track, okay? So these little lines here, the second line is actually the 1/2 inch mark. So that's what I'm doing. I'm lining it up. This is the top left corner going right there. And then I'm gonna make sure that my pencil mark is lined up in the track. And I find it easier to cut from the bottom up so that the paper doesn't move. So I'm doing it just like that. Now we're gonna position the other pencil mark, and then we're going to take our bottom left hand corner and move it to the third line to the left of the paper trimmer. So that's actually 3/4 of an inch. So make sure that your pencil mark's here, your corner is at that 3/4 inch mark, and then again cutting from the bottom up. That's how you make those cut lines, okay? So we have all 3 of those just like that. Make sure I'm not too far up there. There you go. Oh, thanks, Joan. I'm glad you like my nails. So we're gonna do it again so you guys kind of, in case it's confusing. So again, looking at it like we measured it, we have our pencil marks to the right-hand side here. That top pencil mark, we're gonna leave in the track, and then we're gonna take this top left corner and twist that over to where that 1/2 inch mark is to the right-hand side of the paper trimmer. We're gonna make sure our pencil mark's here. That corner hits that 1/2 inch mark. Bring your cutting blade down and cut from the bottom up and cut. And then I'm just gonna stack these right on top of my lemon lime twist. And again, now this is the bottom left-hand corner. We're gonna put that other pencil mark in the track and then move that bottom left-hand corner up to that 3/4 inch score line from the left-hand side of the paper trimmer, okay? So making sure that pencil mark's in the track, the corners at the 3/4 inch line, and then cut, whoops, I shifted a little bit. There we go. Cut from the bottom up, okay? And then we'll stack those and do it one more time. Pencil marks on the right, top left corner goes to the 1/2 inch mark to the right of the paper trimmer. Bring that cutting blade down from the bottom up, cut, and then move that other pencil mark in. This is the bottom left-hand corner going up to that 3/4 inch mark, okay? And I have pictures that will show this as well when my blog post goes out tomorrow, so you'll be able to go back and reference it in picture form as well. I know that's a lot easier sometimes to look at, okay? So now we can kind of erase those little pencil marks as best we can. Oh, it was cool. My granddaughter, she is very crafty, which makes me so happy. She had these friction pens is what they're called, and they're pens and you can write and erase with them. And I thought that was so cool. It's like magic. She showed us yesterday, but she's always drawing little pictures and she got those pens. I thought those were so neat. I think I've seen them on like Project Runway or something before. All right, so now what we're gonna do, so this is basically like the cut and shuffle technique that we did before. So we're gonna leave that top group alone, and then this middle section, we're gonna shuffle one to the back, and this bottom group, we're gonna shuffle two to the back, and now we have 3 different card bases that we can make. Isn't that cool? So each little background is gonna be completely different. And I'm actually gonna do this, I'm gonna do all 3 of the backgrounds and do the paste for each one while I'm on camera because we have to clean the paste and all that. So I'm gonna do 3 backgrounds all at the same time. So let me cut my backgrounds while I'm thinking about it. And then I can always assemble the rest later. But so I need some 5 1/4 by 4 inch pieces here. By 4. And so now what we're gonna do with these 5 1/4 by 4 inch pieces is we are gonna use this as like a template to glue these backgrounds on with. So I'm just gonna take some liquid glue here and I'm gonna take this top one. So we're basically just gonna line these up right on top here and make our little background. And we're going to use that black background to kind of use as a template to make sure that everything's all lined up together. And then if there's any excess, I can trim it off. So that's what we're doing with that. So, and start from either the bottom or the top. Don't try to do in the middle. It gets a little tough when you try to do it that way. So we're just gonna use a little bit of liquid glue and lay that down. Just like that. And then just I always like to use my finger and kind of rub everything together, just like that. So Ethan is in his last week of school this week. I can't believe summer break's already here. I know he can. He's so ready to be done. He's got a band concert tomorrow night, and he is just ready for summer, ready to just chill and not have to do all kinds of crazy assignments and stuff like that. He's ready to go. He's like, oh my gosh, Mom, I'm sick of testing. He turned in some big report or big project today for his English class, and they're already handing out like end of year awards and stuff like that. It's crazy. So see mine, I still have all this excess. That's weird. I shouldn't have that much extra, but that's okay. I'll just trim that off with scissors in a minute. I've got these big long handled scissors that I use for everything, so I can just trim that excess off. It's weird that I had so much extra. I must have cut it funky. I do like paper snips, but sometimes it's better when you have these long handled scissors. It makes it really fast to cut things. A lot cleaner. There we go. Hopefully I don't get glue all over those. So there's one background, just like that. And we'll do another one. And this is gonna line up just like this. I just love these colors. They're very like retro looking to me, kind of like 80s colors. I thought that was really fun. Oh, this one's fine. Huh. I must have measured that one weird. How old is Ethan? Oh, he is going to be 12 this summer, Sylvia. Can you believe it? My little baby's growing up so fast. I feel like before I know it, he'll be graduating and leaving the house, and it's so crazy how fast he's growing. He's my stepdaughters are super short. And Ethan's already almost as tall as them, and he's going to be in 7th grade next year. And I mean, he's kind of short for his age, but he's already almost up to my daughter's height, which is funny. We always laugh about it every time they get together. He's so cute. He's such a good boy too. He does really hard. He works really hard for school, and he's been working really hard on these tests, and he just does really good. He tries really hard. It always makes me so proud. He does such a good job. And these may not be, like you can see mine aren't completely perfect, but that's okay. We'll just trim them down. Sometimes when you measure, it gets a little wonky. I can't believe it, I know. Me either, Sylvia. Oh yeah, that's way off. That's all right though. That's exactly why we have this little template, this background piece here, so that we can trim and make it work. You just trim off any excess here. It should line up for the most part, but I guess mine is a little off. That's all right. It's not gonna be perfect. Get it as close as we can, right? All right, here. The idea is just to be able to make a couple cool cards all at the same time. And try to line it up with the edges, that helps. I guess I didn't get my edges straight, maybe. That could be part of it. You have a grandson, Ethan, named Ethan too, Joan? He's already taller than you. I believe it. Kids grow so fast. He said he went to a birthday party a couple weeks ago, and he went to a different school when we first moved here. And so this boy's birthday party that he went to is one of his friends from the other school. And he said one of the girls that they went to school with was there, and she has like grown so much and was so tall. And I said, well, that makes sense, because girls are always the first to shoot up before the boys, and all the boys feel really short for a little while until it's their turn to have their summer growth spurt. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, I just have a couple little funky edges on the back, so I'm just going to turn it over and kind of trim it and make it kind of line up a little bit better. Whoops. And then we'll be good. And then we'll do the fun part. I love this paste stuff. This is so cool. I've been wanting to play with this for a long time. I've had it just sitting in my craft room waiting to play with it. Okay, so what I did for the little template that we're gonna play with here, I actually took a window sheet and I used this dots and spots die. Okay, and I just took a 6x6 window sheet and I put the die over it, ran it through my embossing machine a few times, and then took my take your pick tool and grabbed any little pieces that were kind of stuck in there and poked them all out, and I made my own little mask. So they have masks in the catalog that you can use. I wanted to make my own, but they have some beautiful ones in the catalog. I just haven't ordered any yet. I keep meaning to and keep forgetting to put them on my order. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna make my own. You can really make your own mask out of any background. Like if you have a big background die that has a lot of little openings like that, all you have to do is run it through your embossing machine over a window sheet and you can make your own, okay? So we're gonna need our silicone craft sheet here. And then we're gonna take one of our background pieces and put it down on that craft sheet. And then we're gonna kind of center this here. And then we're gonna put our mask over the top of it. Now, when you put the mask over it, kind of be mindful of where the little spots are. You can have them going over the edge, but you may have to like trim down the paste later. So I try to make sure that you have pretty much complete coverage all the way around. So I'm gonna take some tape. I have some of this mint tape here. Use Post-it tape, whatever you like that's not too sticky. It'll make it easier to pull up later. And I'm just gonna take a piece and put it on one side and put another piece on the other side. Just make sure it doesn't cover the paper, okay? Now, what is really important is you need to have a bucket of water next to you, because this paste dries really fast. So when we're done with everything, I'm gonna put it in this water so that it doesn't have a chance to set and dry on my mask, my silicone mat, or on my spatula. If you let it sit out, this paste will dry in like a couple of minutes. So if you don't get it in water quickly, it will dry and set, and then your stuff will be ruined and you'll basically have to throw it out. So we're gonna work pretty quickly here, but when we're done, everything goes in the water so that it doesn't have a chance to dry and get stuck on everything, okay? So let's see here, I'm gonna peel this off. This is so pretty, I love this stuff. So you can see, I still have quite a bit of paste here. So we're gonna take that spatula, I like to stir it up a little bit just to make sure everything's evenly distributed. And then we're just gonna take a little bit and scrape it all over this mask and get it all in those little holes. You wanna scrape it up so no excess is really sitting around. And just keep scraping, scrape, scrape, scrape until you get it in all those holes, get all that coverage as best you can. And then you scrape it up so that you don't waste it. You can use it for your next card. Okay, so that's one. That's pretty, oh, I missed a little spot down here. The little bottom part here. But you try to get it as best you can. Okay. There, so there's one. I'm just gonna pull this part up and pull my card out. Try not to make a mess. And then just put it to the side. Now with these little pieces down here, just take like a little napkin or something and get that excess around the edges before it dries. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna lift it and put the next one in there. It's really fun. I like doing this. And you can dye this paste different colors. I'll show you. I kind of played around with that first before I did this one. So I'll show you how that looked when I did that one. Like I said, this dries really fast, so you gotta work kind of quickly. And I have some excess, so I'll just scrape the mat to get any excess and not waste it. So we want to be able to use that for other projects later. Okay, that should work out pretty good. Oh, nice. Oh, I didn't get that corner that much, but that's okay. And carefully lift that one up and wipe away any excess paste on the side there. And then get our last one. Just like that. I'm just gonna put that down. All right, last one. Just kind of put, you don't need a ton, I think that's a lot actually, but that's okay. Get that corner. I just love how this looks, it's so neat. And I'll show you when I put this in the water, it pretty much instantly starts kind of peeling away from everything so that it doesn't dry on there and get all hard. You'll be able to see the water get kind of like a milky color, and you know that it's just kind of lifting off of everything. There we go. All right, so now I'm done with this. I'm gonna put it in my little tub of water. I'm gonna put the cover back on my paste. Whoops. There we go. So I'm gonna close that up so that doesn't dry out. I've still got quite a bit of that left. And then I'm gonna pull the tape off of here and throw these away. And actually I'm done using my mask, so I can throw my mask away, or you can save it if you wanna save it. I'll just go ahead and put it in the water and put this to the side. And again, I have some of that paste on the side here, so I'm just gonna kind of use my finger to get that excess off and put that to the side. And then we put our little mask in here. And now everything, it's not even hot water anymore, but just having that water, it kind of helps clean everything. It gets like a milky color and it'll keep it from drying and setting on what we're using. So it'll be good to go. Okay. So put that off to the side now. We're done with that. All right. And this is the first one we did. I think this one's about dry. My hands are still kind of wet here. Let's see. Yeah, these are pretty much dry already. This is that first background we did, and it's already about dry. So really, really, really fast. They dry quickly. Okay, now we're gonna do a little stamping. So I have a bunch of stamps here that we're gonna use. And we're gonna make some flowers. I'm gonna make a bunch of them. So you can see on the card sample here, I've got 2 little flowers and then a bigger flower here. So what I always do when I stamp, especially with double or 2-step stamping as they call it, I do the dark first and then do the light over it. It makes it a lot easier to see when you do the dark ink first and then try to line the lighter ink over the top of it. So I just have a scrap piece of paper here, and I'm gonna take some garden green. And these are all from that Love for You stamp set. That's what we're using today, is the Love for You stamp set and the dies that coordinate with it. Those are still in the annual catalog. If you don't have those, you can get those. I'll make sure there's no little fuzzies here. And I'm gonna make a bunch of these. Oops, that didn't stamp very good. There we go. Because I have 3 card bases to make. So I'm gonna make like 6 of these. And 3 of them I'm gonna cut in half. That's 1, 2, 3. I'm not counting that one because that's a bad one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you don't wanna stamp them too close together because we are gonna die cut them out. 6. And you could make 3 for each flower, but I actually cut one of them in half. And used them for the small flowers. So we did the garden green, that's the dark leaf stamp color. And now we're doing lemon lime twist over the top of it. So we're just gonna line those up because they're the photopolymer. You can see right through there. It's so pretty. I love how they line up and you can see right through the stamps. This is where you struggled. Yeah, the flowers were a little tricky when we did them in class. I'm gonna see if I can show you guys. I have some tricks, but I think I know what the problem was in class. So we'll go over that here in a minute. All right, so those are the leaves. So now we're gonna do berry burst for the insides, and we have a small and a larger one. So again, I need 2 times 3, so I need 6 of these smaller flowers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I won't die cut all these out for you guys, but I'll die cut what we need for the card and then die cut the rest later when I make these. And I need 3 of these bigger flowers. So let's see, I could probably do them, I should probably do them on a separate sheet of paper actually. Don't know if that's gonna be big enough. We will do. Here, this will work. I'll do my bigger flowers here. 1, well, there's 2 anyway. I'll try to find another piece here. I always have my little scrap bin. I'm sure I can find something here. I've got an old heart. We'll see if I can die cut that. Okay, so that's the centers with the berry burst. Now for the bubble bath, here is where we are going to line everything up. So looking at these flowers, they have the centers, you can kind of tell here too, they're like an oblong, like an oval shape, okay? So if you line up those centers, you'll be able to line up the petals. Now, obviously there's 2 ways, and if you look at it, if you're doing it this way, the petals don't line up, right? So we wanna flip that center, and those line up. So if the first time you do it, let me see if I can get a little bit closer. So the first time I did it, I had the center lined up, but you can see those petals don't really line up. So if that happens, just flip it around so that the center is still lined up, but now you can tell that's going to line up better with those petals, okay? So that's the trick, is looking at that centerpiece and lining up those little oblong places. Now, this bubble bath is very light. Everybody in class was like, oh, your ink pads run out. No, it's just super, super light. It didn't run out. So let's see. I line this up here. Just like that. And now our flowers are all lined up. So that's the trick, is lining up those little ovals in the center. And once you get them placed right, they come out like a breeze. You could probably use like a darker pink, like Flirty Flamingo or something. This is very light. If you wanted something that's a little easier to see, but I really like this color combination. I wanted to play with the new colors, and I love how these line up together. They look perfect together, I think. There we go. So there's all the little ones. And now we'll do the same thing with the big one. So those are all stamped. So again, if you're looking at the center here, that's how it lines up. You can kind of test it out, get it in the right position, and then stamp it on there. Just like that. And we'll do it on this side. And one more. And this is, and you can kind of see the bottom is like a V shape, and that kind of lines up with that V in the berry burst. Oops, just like that. Okay. So that's the trick, is using those little oval center pieces to line everything up with those flowers. Now I'm going to grab my humongous die cutting machine here. Move this background out of the way. All right. So I'm going to die cut some of these flowers. I'll get my plates out too. All right, here we go. Get this going here. And I need this flower. And again, this is another one, you just gotta kind of twist it until it gets to where it needs to be. Oh, come on. And that's why the tape is important. Because the tape will help keep it where it is. And if anything shifts, it'll still be good to go. So we'll put that on there. And I'll try it. Well, I'll use the other one in a minute. I'm gonna get that going. Okay. Love, love, love how this looks. So there's one of our big flowers. And now we need 2 little flowers and 2 leaves. So we're gonna be using this little flower die and this little double leaf die. And we can cut these out at the same time since I'm on the same sheet of paper here. Just do one up here. Does anybody have this set? Have you guys played around with it yet? This was in the mini catalog. And it was so pretty. I remember it went really well with that Celebration paper that was like kind of dark and goth looking. I loved it though. I thought it was so pretty. All right, so let's put this one on. And we'll put this one on. Do some die cutting. I had to laugh yesterday. So we were cooking dinner and my daughter was in the kitchen with me and she's, you know, making small talk, and she goes, "Oh, I hear you're gonna go see a comedian." And I said, "What? I am?" And she's like, She's like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then she like kind of walked out of the kitchen and she went out. My husband was outside grilling and he was so annoyed. He was trying to surprise me and I think she thought I already knew about it. And was just trying to make small talk. It was so funny. I was like, nope. But, oh, and then my other daughter got peed on by a squirrel yesterday. How crazy is that? Oops, this one shifted. My dog, we always have these squirrels that go all over the bird cage in our backyard and our little like screened in area. And anytime he sees these squirrels, he like runs all over the place. And she was sitting in the middle of our back porch. And I guess the squirrel got nervous and was like right over her head and peed like in her hair. She had her mouth open. Some of it got in her mouth. It was so gross. We were like, she was like using mouthwash and all kinds of stuff. It was so crazy. She was like, that is so disgusting. It was really, I don't think I've ever known anybody that's had a squirrel pee on them, but now I can say my daughter's had it happen to her. It was so weird. All right, so now I've got all of our little leaf pieces here. We've got our flowers, our 2 small ones, our big one, and our leaves. So that's what we need for those right now. Now we need to die cut this Love You So Much. So to do that, we are going to use some adhesive sheets. Okay, these are big. They're 6x12 sheets. It basically just makes like a sticker. They have these little panels that you can peel apart, and the sticky comes off of one side of the piece, and you stick it onto the paper and basically make like a big sticker. That's what we're going to do next. I had some black already ready to go. Oh, here it is. So I have some that's already put together, but I'm going to show you how to do it so you know how to do it on your own. I love this. Yeah, it was really gross. So what I like to do is I like to kind of cut down a piece that's going to be as big as my cardstock. Okay, that way we don't have any waste and we know exactly where the sticky's going to be. So I'm just going to kind of cut this away. I'm kind of just layering it on top of the paper and cutting it away. So this is excess I can use for another project. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take, you can see this little panel here, we can peel it off and the sticky's actually on the back of this side, and we'll just line it up against the edge of the black here. And like I said, we're just making a sticker basically. So we're going to stick this down, line it up. And then if you have any excess, you can cut away the excess. I don't think that's enough to really make a difference if it doesn't die cut everything. So I'm not too worried about it. But so we're going to do, let me make sure I got the right ones because I pulled out some of the wrong ones and people were cutting the wrong letters because I gave them the wrong ones the other day. So we need to do Love You So Much. That's what we're doing, okay? And we're going to grab our embossing machine again. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. Oops. Whoa. It's a heavy beast. All right. So now what we're going to do is, you guys see this? Yeah. So I have some, like I said, there's a little bit left here that I can kind of make room with. So whatever side that you have the little adhesive sheets on, that needs to be face side down. You're going to cut from the cardstock on the top. So I'm using, like I said, some little extra that I had. We don't want to go to waste. We want to use as much as we can. I can probably get the love. No, maybe not love there. Maybe U. I might be able to get a U in there. Another U on the top. Yep. That'll probably work. And then the much needs to go on here. Let's do this way. Do much. Let's see if I can get love in there somehow. Oh, perfect. Just gonna line that all up. Okay. So then I'm just gonna put my plate down on top. Now for this, I am gonna run it through a few times. Oops, that's shifting. There it goes. I'm gonna run it through a couple times just to make sure that it cuts through the paper and the adhesive sheets. So I'm gonna run that through like 2 or 3 times, and that'll cut through everything. Now, if it doesn't cut through the adhesive sheet all the way, it's not a huge deal because you're gonna peel the adhesive sheet away from the paper anyway. So it's not a big deal, but I know some people, they like to cut through everything all at once, and that's fine. So I'm gonna pull this up. So yeah, see it, oh, my U even shifted, so that didn't come out, so we'll have to cut that one again. That's all right. I can cut it on this piece. But yeah, that came out in the die, no problem. And so did the love. Okay, so I am going to do, I gotta do my U one more time because that shifted. Okay. And I might tape it down this time just to make sure that it's not gonna go anywhere, especially on such a small area here. I'm gonna tape that. Okay. I'll just run it through a few times. Front and back, that should be good. There we go. Now I have my U, perfect. Oh man. Guess there's extra pressure in the die with all the adhesive sheet and everything. It makes that tape stick on there. Okay, so now we're going to take our little pokey tool on these dies and kind of poke out the holes to get the die out, get the word out of the die rather, and get those little extra pieces out too, so I can throw those away. So let's see here. I have the love. There we go, love, you, so, and much. There we go. Okay, there we go. We got all of our pieces. Now we're ready to assemble and get all of our little scrap pieces out of the E and the O, get those pieces thrown out so we don't worry about as much as we can. It'll come out when we take the adhesive off too if it doesn't come out this way. There we go. All right, let's get this going here. Okay, so now we'll take our card base here. And I just have a 8.5 by 5.5 by 8.5 basic black, and we just fold it in half. And now we're going to take one of these card bases and we're going to put it on. You can put it either way. I'm going to put it this way. And I'm just going to put it on with, you know, some Stampin' Seal Plus. You could use liquid glue, whatever floats your boat. I like Stampin' Seal Plus a lot. And if you have any rough edges, it's not a huge deal because everything's black on black. It'll all blend in. So, all right, so now for this one, oh, see, it's already sticking to my skin. It'll come off, but that's why we get that water bucket out. Okay, so for this one, I actually used this little bottom line here to line up this much. And then you have love up here, you over here, and then so kind of in the middle. So to peel off this adhesive sheet backing, you see these words are really tiny. The easiest way, if you can find like where the adhesive sheet maybe didn't cover all the way, like there's a little black section right here, I'm going to use this pokey piece and kind of get under that adhesive sheet and just peel it up. And with these words, you got to be real gentle, because if you pull this adhesive sheet too much, like too hard, it could rip the word. It'll become all mangled, and you don't want that. You want it to kind of keep its shape as much as possible. So we're going to be real gentle with this one. I think that was a big reason it was kind of frustrating in my class too, is because it can easily get mangled. And so if you tear it just so, or pull it just so, then it can kind of come undone. Nobody wants that. So it's like mine is already kind of, that M is a little funky, but just be real gentle with it and you'll be fine. So like I said, I just used that little seam there to line everything up. And then just kind of let that M fall down. You can maneuver it just a little bit, kind of work your way around the M, get it in place, and then stick it down. But because we use those adhesive sheets, the whole thing will stick down, which is really awesome. So I'm gonna go up here to the love. And on the back here, you can see like that little hole didn't come out all the way. It didn't cut through, but that's okay, because when we pull this sticky off, again, just using that little pokey part, we pull the sticky off, it's gonna pull that little piece in the center of the E out with it, because it's stuck to the backing that didn't get cut all the way. So it's not a problem if it doesn't die cut all the way through. And I have this little tiny piece, but this little pokey end of your take your pick tool is really what does the trick. I can even bend this a little bit, I think. With my nail, it'll come up. Nope. What is happening? Come on. There we go. There it goes. Okay. So we're gonna do the love right around here. And then the U. But that's the trick, is getting that little pokey piece and kind of pulling away that top part. Once you get a corner of it started, it's not a problem. And I love these for like anything that's real fine like this. U. And then so. And then this one, you can tell it's got the little seam from the backing, so you can even kind of bend it a little bit to peel it off that way. That makes it a lot easier when you can make it work that way. You don't even need the take your pick tool. That's the easiest way to do it. Okay. Love you so much. Okay. So now for the little flowers, I'm going to take probably some liquid glue actually. And for the little leaves here, we're just going to put a little dab of liquid glue on the bottoms of those stems. And then for our big flower here, I'm going to put it kind of right back here. So it looks like that. That big opening is kind of at the top. Let those dry. And then this other little leaf cluster, I'm going to actually cut it in half and use the leaves individually. Kind of save a little bit of time in this card, right? It's kind of involved, but it's very pretty. And I feel like, the really pretty ones that take a long time, those are the ones that, you give to people and say, don't you dare throw this thing away. I mean, most of our cards, but especially those. So I'm going to put this one behind a couple of the petals. Let that kind of dry. And then we'll do one more. And because we kind of cut it in half, or even though we cut it in half, and you can kind of see that I cut it right now, but because we're going to put it behind the little petals on the leaves, you won't really notice. You can't even tell that I cut it. Kind of covers that up. Okay, so now for these, we're actually going to pop these up with some dimensionals. I'm going to take the big flower. I'm going to kind of put a couple dimensionals on the big one. and then one-dimensional on each of the small ones, just right in the center there. And then this little big flower, we're gonna put down here in the corner. And then the smaller one, we're gonna put one up in the top corner. Whoops. And then we're gonna put one kind of off to the side here. Now for the little flower centers, we're gonna use these iridescent pearl basic jewels, some of my favorites, and just use that little putty end of the take your pick tool and kind of push down. I'm using the smaller ones here, and we're just gonna put one right in the center of each flower, just like that. And you could even use a bigger, I think I used a bigger one on the big flower, but either one doesn't matter. And that is it. Oops, that one came up a little, there we go. That is my little fun background technique card with the glittery, or what is it? Shimmery white embossing paste. That's what you want. I love that so much. And you can make your own template out of anything. Use some of those adhesive sheets to get something that's fine and small to stick to your project. I just love it so much. And you're gonna have a bunch of different backgrounds, basically another stack and shuffle technique with all those different colored backgrounds. So if you guys enjoyed this project, please give me a little thumbs up or heart and let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, while I'm gone, I will have that Norway incentive trip shopping special, so be on the lookout for that, okay? I am so glad you guys joined me today. I can't wait to come back and tell you all about my adventures in England and Norway. And I will have lots and lots of pictures to share probably after Memorial Day when we get back. So be on the lookout on my Facebook page for all that information, okay? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget, if you need any of the supplies for today's project, shop with me at stampinup.com. My name is Jennifer Roque, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, okay? I will see you in a couple weeks. You guys be safe, have fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.